Have you ever felt like you don't quite fit in? Like your thoughts run deeper than those around you? Maybe you've questioned things others accept without a second thought. And for that, you've been called too serious, too complicated, or even arrogant. Why is it that intelligent people often feel isolated? Why do they make others uncomfortable? And most importantly, why does society fear them? Today, we'll explore this deep, unsettling truth through the lens of the great philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer. His insights reveal why the most brilliant minds throughout history, Einstein, Tesla, Nietzsche, were often ridiculed, ignored, or even despised. By the end of this video, you might just understand why you've always felt like an outsider, and why that's actually a sign of your brilliance. Arthur Schopenhauer, the great 19th century German philosopher, had a brutally honest view of society. He believed that the majority of people are driven by base instincts, pleasure, survival, and conformity. But intelligent people? They see beyond this. They think independently, analyze deeply, and question everything. And that's exactly what makes them a threat. Schopenhauer famously said, "Intellect is invisible to the man who has none." This means that those who lack deep intelligence cannot even perceive it in others. Instead, they see intellectuals as strange, difficult, or even dangerous. So, what happens when a person with high intelligence tries to share their ideas with society? Most people either ignore, misunderstand, or fear them. But why? Let's break it down. 1. Intelligent people challenge the status quo. Society thrives on rules, traditions, and beliefs, whether they make sense or not. Most people follow these without question. It's easier. It's comfortable. But an intelligent mind, they ask why. They challenge the system. And that terrifies people. Think of Galileo Galilei. When he proved that the earth revolved around the sun, instead of the other way around, the church condemned him as a heretic. Not because he was wrong, but because he disrupted the established order. The same thing happens today. If you question mainstream narratives, outdated traditions, or deeply rooted beliefs, you're often labeled as a troublemaker. Society doesn't want truth. It wants stability. And intelligent people? They threaten that stability. 2. They see through society's illusions. Schopenhauer believed that most people live in an illusion. They are distracted by entertainment, materialism, and superficial pursuits. But the highly intelligent? They see through the facade. They recognize how society manipulates people through fear, media, and false values. Take Friedrich Nietzsche, for example. He exposed how religion and morality were often used to control the masses. But instead of being celebrated, he was ridiculed and even dismissed as insane. Why? Because society doesn't want people who see the truth. It wants people who obey. And if you're one of those rare individuals who see beyond the veil, don't be surprised if people call you negative or cynical. You're not negative, you're awake. 3. They are naturally isolated. One of the most painful truths about intelligence is that it isolates you. Schopenhauer described this perfectly. A man can be himself only so long as he is alone, and if he does not love solitude, he will not love freedom, for it is only when he is alone that he is truly free. The smarter you are, the harder it is to find people who truly understand you. Your conversations go deeper, your thoughts are more complex, and your interests are more profound. While others discuss gossip or trivial matters, you crave discussions about philosophy, science, art, or the mysteries of the universe. And that can be lonely. But here's the truth, isolation is not a curse. It's a sign of intelligence. History's greatest minds, Da Vinci, Tesla, Van Gogh, spent most of their lives in solitude. Not because they wanted to be alone, but because the world couldn't keep up with them. So if you often feel lonely, don't see it as a weakness. See it as proof that you're meant for something greater. 4. They don't conform to social expectations. Society has a script: go to school, get a job, get married, follow the rules, don't ask too many questions. But highly intelligent people? They don't fit into this mold. They question traditional education, find normal jobs unfulfilling, and often struggle with social conventions. They're more interested in creating, exploring, and thinking than simply following orders. That's why many of the most brilliant people in history were misfits. They didn't care about fitting in. They cared about truth, innovation, and wisdom. And what happens when you refuse to conform? You get labeled as weird, difficult, or rebellious. But in reality, you're just ahead of your time. 5. Their confidence is mistaken for arrogance. There's another reason why intelligent people scare society. They know their worth. When you're truly intelligent, you don't seek validation from others. You don't need permission to think for yourself. And this confidence? It intimidates people. Most people mistake self-assurance for arrogance because they're used to others seeking approval. But highly intelligent individuals don't need approval. They seek truth. And truth doesn't always make you friends. 6. The psychological burden of intelligence. Introspective music fades in. Intelligence is often seen as a gift, but it comes with a psychological cost. Highly intelligent people tend to experience overthinking, existential anxiety, and emotional depth that others may not understand. They analyze every situation, every interaction, and every possibility. But this constant thinking can become exhausting. Schopenhauer believed that wisdom often leads to suffering. The more you understand reality, the harder it becomes to accept its imperfections. A high degree of intellect tends to make a man unsocial. Why? Because intelligence heightens awareness. You see hypocrisy where others see tradition. You notice manipulation where others see leadership. You feel the weight of history, human nature, and the passage of time in a way that others simply don't. And that kind of awareness? It can feel isolating, but there's a silver lining. Your deep thinking gives you power. If you learn to channel it into creativity, knowledge, and self-improvement, you can transform your struggles into something extraordinary. 7. The fear of the unpredictable. Society thrives on predictability. Schools teach conformity. Workplaces demand obedience. Social groups reinforce norms. But highly intelligent people? They break patterns. They are unpredictable, unconventional, and often refuse to abide by unwritten societal rules. And that unpredictability scares people. This is why many of history's greatest minds were either rejected in their time, like Vincent van Gogh, who sold only one painting in his life, silenced by authority, like Socrates, who was sentenced to death for questioning Athenian beliefs, or turned into legends only after their death, like Nikola Tesla, who died poor despite his genius. People don't fear intelligence itself. They fear what they cannot control. And intelligence, when paired with independence, is the most uncontrollable force of all. 8. How to thrive as an intelligent outsider. So, what can you do if you're one of these people? How do you navigate a world that fears what you represent? Here are 3 powerful strategies. 1. Learn to adapt without compromising your mind. You don't have to dull your intelligence to fit in. But you do have to learn when to speak and when to listen. Not everyone is ready for deep discussions, and forcing them often leads to rejection. Instead, find ways to express your thoughts in the right environments. Seek intellectual communities, write, create, or share your ideas in spaces where they'll be appreciated. 2. Use your intelligence to build, not just to critique. it's easy to see what's wrong with the world. It's harder to create something better. Every great thinker who left a legacy didn't just analyze, they built. They wrote books, started movements, invented technologies, and created art. Your intelligence is a tool. Use it to contribute, innovate, and inspire. 3. Remember, you are not alone. Yes, intelligence can feel isolating. But you are not the first to walk this path. Throughout history, people like you have existed, misunderstood in their time, but revered by future generations. Take comfort in knowing that your struggles are part of a greater story. And one day, the world may look back at people like you and finally understand. The road of intelligence is not an easy one. It is filled with doubts, loneliness, and resistance. But it is also filled with discovery, growth, and the potential to leave a lasting impact. So if society fears you, misunderstands you, or even rejects you, take it as a sign. It means you are thinking for yourself. And that is the greatest power of all. How to embrace your intelligence in a world that fears it. If you resonate with what we've discussed, you might be wondering, how do I survive in a world that doesn't understand me? Here's what Schopenhauer would advise. 1. Embrace solitude. It's where you'll find your greatest ideas. 2. Stop seeking approval. You don't need it. 3. Find like-minded individuals. Even if it's just one person, having someone who understands you can make a huge difference. 4. Use your intelligence to create. Write, paint, invent. Leave something behind that outlives you. 5. Remember, you're not alone. History is filled with people just like you. They changed the world, and so can you. The truth is, intelligence comes with a price. Society fears what it doesn't understand. It always has. But the world needs people like you, thinkers, dreamers, visionaries. Yes, you may walk a lonely road. But remember, every great mind in history walked that road too. And in the end, it's the ones who dare to think differently who change the world. Thank you for watching. If this video resonated with you, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And remember, your mind is your greatest gift. Never let society convince you otherwise.